All right, we've done our fair share of talking about horror films from the 70s, even earlier and a little bit after, but I haven't really focused that much on modern horror, and that's something I want to delve into because the two films we're going to talk about in this particular video are two films that came out the year that I started high school, which was 2006, which doesn't seem that long ago, but in reality is like 14 years ago, which is crazy. But back in 2006, I wasn't a horror, a cinephile as much as I am now. Like I knew quite a bit about movies, but I wasn't like obsessed. And when these movies came out, I remember being like, shit, those are pretty freaky and scary and that kind of stuff. Because I'm like 13, 14 years old. Like movies still fucked with me a bit at that point. Like I was brainwashed by my dad to like watching all these insane movies growing up, but movies still freaked me out back then. Like even back then, I remember playing San Andreas around that era, and I don't know what movie it was or what was out at the time, but a trailer came on, and I remember whenever that trailer came on, I would fucking pause it or look away or mute it or whatever it was. And without any further ado, we'll talk about them in order of how I watched them today. This movie's gross, and it is The Hills Have Eyes. This is the unrated edition. It's directed by Alexandre Aja, who went on to do, I believe, Piranha. But I gotta point out, this movie is shot by Maxime Alexandre. You fucking did an amazing job with the way this film looks. It's so brutal. It's so graphic. Like this is still in the era where people were taking advantage of practical effects. So you had Greg Nicotero, Howard Berger, KMB Effects doing the effects. It's produced by Wes Craven. Like all the elements are here that's needed, and later on in the remake world of the 2000s, it goes downhill. But back with movies like this and the movie we're gonna talk about after this one, like they held true to the original, and it's fucking badass, and it's insanely graphic, lots of gore, lots of just twisted stuff. There is some CG peppered in, but it's not the amount where you're gonna be like, oh come on, like it's the perfect blend, you know what I mean? Like it's like your Jurassic Park kind of blend, if that makes sense. So the story of this film, if you don't know it, is it's about this family that's going on a vacation to California. Everyone's always going to California like it's the fucking best thing since sliced bread. I've heard shitty stories, but I've heard good stories. But on their way to California, they stop to get gas at this greasy little gas station that's run by this guy who's in cahoots with the people of the hills, and he sends them on their way to be murdered, and they're all murdered except for three of them. But it's left up for debate if they do get murdered or not, because the ending shot. But the best kill in this, the most memorable kill, the kill that I thought about for a long time was how the father's burnt on the on the tree. That's so gross, and it's so graphic. Like the thing is, that's how you can tell practical effects are better, because they burn a practical effect or a practical dummy in that fire that's animatronic, and it looks fucking good, and it can still be done. But these cocksuckers, let's just use CG, and like, sure, that's great for people that are fucking working in CG, but for people that want to see good shit like this, it's fucking Gandhi, man. It's see ya. But one part in this film that really did fuck me up, or hit me emotionally almost, is the scene where in the trailer, after the rape occurs and the fucking sister gets shot and the mother gets shot with the python, and she just gets blown to shit, like right against the wall. And it's later on, after the aftermath of that, where the dude with the glasses, Doug, I believe his name is, he comes in and he's talking to the mother on the couch, and the way that she's reacting to this is just so, feels real to me, and sad, because like, she's like saying, oh, is Bob back? And he's like, no, he's not back, but he knows that his ass is dead, but he's just comforting her, and he's like, do you need anything? And she's like, a blanket, I'm cold. And like that, it hurts me, bro. It hurts me to see that, and it makes it that much better when he's murdering all these freaks and these weirdos, because it does. It's like, the poor old lady. And like, you think about your own mother, you know what I mean? Like, those of us lucky enough to still have our mother, and you think about shit like that, you're like, my God, like, imagine if your mom got shot and like all she's asking for is a blanket. Like, talk about son of a bitch almost making me cry in a goddamn exploitation film. But I love it, man. So, and the thing is, there's a lot of special features on this. Like, there's a commentary with Wes Craven and Peter Locke, who are the producers. Wes Craven, of course, if you're unfamiliar with, I'm pretty positive if you're watching this, you know who Wes Craven is. But if you don't, he created Nightmare on Elm Street, which is Freddy Krueger, Scream, the original Hills Have Eyes, Last House on the Left, like tons of classics. We got Surviving the Hills, Making of the Hills Have Eyes documentary, production diaries, and a music video called Leave the Broken Hearts by the Finalists, which I don't give a fuck about the music video, and probably not the production diaries. Well, maybe. Those could be interesting to check out, actually, if there's some cool, like sort of sketches. I love seeing sketches, not storyboards, but like, if, like, say the director or whoever's like working on a page, and then they just like just draw like a little thing, like what they mean. I love looking at stuff like that, and then looking at the finished product and seeing how it relays over to that. It's cool shit. I was just looking at the time there. But the documentary, I'd love to watch that. I'd love to listen to I'd listen to both of those commentaries, to be honest, because the first one has the director, Alexander Aja. It's got the art director and co-screenwriter, Gregory Lassevier, and producer Marianne Medella. So those are three people that are key to the production, and it would be cool to check that out. Like, art director and co-screenwriter. Like, that's a hell of a credit to have. So, Hills Have Eyes. What else can I say about it, man? Like, there's some insane sceneries or insane shots of, like, like, they do a great job at like taking a static shot, which is just like a shot like this, like a shot on a tripod, and then cutting to handheld and making it like just so filthy and dirty and exploitation-y. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, these are modern day fucking classics, in my opinion, because this shit came out when I was a kid. I still watch it to this day. I actually haven't watched this in years. It's probably been at least a good, like, I don't know, man. I know when my cousin got rid of his DVD collection, he gave me this, like, he probably gave me about, like, I would say at least maybe 20 to 30 horror DVDs that went into my collection, and then a bunch of other kind of random movies. But I remember we watched this a bunch of times. I watched this with buddies and stuff, like, great shit. So if you're looking for a good time, I would recommend this film, and I would recommend you double feature this, not with the sequel, even though the sequel's great, and maybe potentially we'll get into the sequel in a later on video, but I paired this tonight with Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, also from 2006. This film is directed by Jonathan Liebsman. It's shot by Lucas Etlin, and it's produced by Michael Bay, Toby Hooper, Kim Henkel. Toby Hooper and Kim Henkel created the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this is a prequel to the remake of the original 1970, is it 76? Holy fuck, I'm blanking. I don't know if it's 74 or 76 right now, but either way, this movie is fucking awesome. And the other remake, like the remake from, the one with Jessica Biel, it's not half bad, all right? Like, it's not, I really like that film. I know a lot of people tear it down and all this shit, and I remember, I remember one time I went to see a screening with my brother and my cousin of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 35 millimeter at Rainbow Cinema like 10 years ago. And I remember these people were talking about, isn't this the one with Jessica Biel, like making a joke? And I remember thinking in my head, and my cousin were like, those movies, we kind of fuck with those movies. So I don't know what that's about, but I know it's holy ground to a lot of people, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And like honestly, to me, and I know there's a lot of people that are Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise fanatics, and I respect that, and I respect your opinion. But my opinion is, I'm not hot on any of the Chainsaw sequels. Not even the second one, really, man. I mean, I like it, but I way prefer the original from the 70s, and then pair that with the remake with Jessica Biel, and then this one. Like, for me, in order of enjoyment, the original, and then this one. This is heavy-duty shit, man. You got R. Lee Emery reprising his role as the Sheriff Hoyt, and you discover how he got that, and like all of that. I feel like whoever wrote this, I know it was a pair of dudes that wrote it, Sheldon Turner and David Shaw. When they wrote this, and like if they knew that they had R. Lee Emery on fucking on tab to be in this film, they must have been coming in their pants, because I'm telling you, it's so well done, and everything R. Lee Emery says is just like so him. You know what I mean? Like there's a scene where he's like beating the shit out of the guys in the back seat or whatever, and he's like, "You got something to say about this bullshit, do you, Dean?" And just everything, and like how he gets his teeth knocked out, which comes up. It's like a callback to the other remake, and it's all over the place. But this movie is insanely graphic. It's insanely to me well acted, even by the shithead teenagers. Like the main chick, who's Jordana Brewster. I think she does a great job as like your Sally character from the original, and they even kind of like there's some shots in this film inspired by the original, especially when she escapes the house. I believe she runs outside. It just looks like, you know, the under the ass swing shot from the original one. I know people that know what I'm talking about. So if you don't, you're fucked. So my favorite kills in this, right out of the gate, I love Lou Temple's death, who plays the Sheriff Hoyt, not R. Lee Emery taking over, but he plays like this hick kind of cop. He plays the same dude he essentially always plays, and you know, if you don't know who I'm talking about, he was the rapist orderly in the remake of Halloween from Rob Zombie, and he's also he was in The Walking Dead as one of the prisoners. It's been so long, I don't remember what his name was, but he gets his head blown off by Sheriff Hoyt, and it's awesome. And then he says one of the coolest lines, because the sheriff had just let him know. He's like, you know, I'm the last piece of law enforcement left around here. I'm moving to Michigan next year. And after R. Lee Emery shoots him, he says, "Whoa, I just killed the whole sheriff department. Well, wondered what that felt like." And he like spits his fucking greasy chew out of his mouth, and just like, that is, I love it. So, you know, and of course the kill with the chainsaw, the biker, who's actually played by fucking Tobias Beecher from Oz. What's his name? Lee Terzian, some kind of strange T name. But my God, like, he's awesome. Like, like, this is a biker film, and it's like, well, it has biker elements. It has your crazy Vietnam element. Like, this takes place, like, the two brothers, the two bullshit teenagers, they're basically on their way to Vietnam. One of them's been, the other one hasn't been, but he's been drafted, and he wants to burn his draft card. There's a whole side story to that, but that shit, you're not there. You're not fucking watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre to see some people burn their draft card. You're watching it because you want to see Leatherface go apeshit. And in this film, you get to watch him put on his first mask, and it's cool. And I love Leatherface's relationship with the sheriff character, because, like, you know, the sheriff's often saying how he's misunderstood and this and that, and, like, you know, he's not dumb, and, you know, he ain't Tommy there, he ain't no pussy, like that kind of thing. And there's even a shot where he puts the face on for the first time, comes up the stairs, Sheriff Hoyt looks down, and he says, "Tommy, you know, I like your new face." Like, he gives him approval, and it's almost like, okay, like, thank you for being on the same level as this guy. I don't want to just see him get, like, beat on. Like, you know, I don't like that. I like him with a bit of balls. You know what I'm saying? So it was good shit. In way of special features, and fuck, I gotta point this shit out, man. What the fuck happened to special features? Honestly, you never get unless you're buying like an Arrow or some shit like that, you're not getting any special features. This is a fucking $5 bin kind of movie. Listen to the special features. Feature and deleted scenes, audio commentary with director, deleted and extended scenes, down to the bone, behind the scenes extended documentary. Like, what the fuck? Or it doesn't say extended documentary, but, like, where the fuck are all the making ofs? You never see that shit anymore, and that pisses me off. So I appreciate everybody for watching this. The next batch of these remakes that I want to talk about will probably be, I'll name off a few for you. I did it recently in a video talking about The Blob, The Thing, and The Fly remakes, but Dawn of the Dead, the remake of that, I Spit on Your Grave, Last House on the Left, which is an improvement on the original, I think a lot of people would say. and the Halloween remake with from Rob Zombie. Not talking about a sequel. Like as you can see, we're not kind of like following any kind of order. I just want to talk about these as I watch them, and just I entered high school in a fucking like new movement of horror where even though they're people argue, oh, they're fucking super monochromy, and I agree, but I can look past that. Because comparing these to the horror films of now, like you're either trying to get like some kind of thing that's trying to be like super fucking artsy and like like people trying to like rip off like a Jordan Peele kind of thing, or they're just doing like schlocky shit. So this stuff is awesome, good stories, and they're fucking awesome. uh great characters, and even Hills Have Eyes starts off with like you thinking like this nerdy guy is just some piece of shit asshole kind of cocky dude, ends up being the badass of the bunch. And with this film, like you get to see all that shit you want to see about Leatherface being a kid. You get to see him, where he comes from, which is a fucking dumpster. He was born to some broad that works a fucking slaughterhouse. It gives birth on the floor in there, and then they toss the baby into the basket in the back, or the bin, the dumpster. He's a dumpster baby. But I just dig that, and I don't fuck with that Leatherface film. Maybe I should watch it again, but I remember just being very let down because, spoiler alert, the big dude in that film isn't Leatherface. Leatherface is like this little skinny dude, and that pissed me off. So that put me off from that. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for watching, and check out the Facebook page, the Instagram. The links will be in the description. And yeah, adios, and stay fucking tuned.